This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports and Chaco. We're here at Glean, and once again we're back in with our check-in with Dee Walsh. How are you?
Okay, man. It's good to see you.
It definitely is. Obviously, we've been used to seeing you at shows and things like that, but we always leave a wee bit of time and sort of to catch up on how things are being, how things are, obviously in the gym. Probably a quiet start to 2022, the probably professional side of things you've been more used to. You've obviously had Colin Murphy out twice. And obviously you're away in Canada with Lee Reeves. Obviously, firstly we'll start with Colin. Obviously, you had an acid test sort of fight on Saturday night in in Europa. I'm sure you're obviously very pleased on how you performed.
Yeah, big time, especially towards the end there. He had to dig deep. When the round, every round was competitive. He took a few shots, and obviously he gave more shots than he took. But at the same time, it was a good learning fight for him, and especially the fact that he had to dig deep towards the end. So no, I'm happy enough with how things went.
I was sort of saying to you afterwards that you could probably base that from, say for instance, this fight with JP Hale in the elites, where he was sort of using his head as a blocker.
Yeah.
Whereas you see the development he has now, he's actually taking a step back, and he seems to be adjusting very well with him. I would say you probably couldn't have thought it could have went any better than it's went so far with him.
Yeah, definitely. One of the first things that we worked on with Colin was his head movement, because, as you say, he was always going forward with take guard, and but people don't understand this too. Like, when you're taking shots with your hands up like that, the way Colm's taking them, they still hurt, and that's why Colm has probably had one black eye in the last year, and it was probably with a hair clash and sparring in here. And he told me even fights he won the amateurs, he was coming out with 2 black eyes. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I've worked so much on his head movement. And even the fights throughout the weekend, he could hit a good few shots, but at the same time he was kind of riding them. He wasn't taking them full on. So he's improved massively, and as I say, I'm happy with him.
And obviously, not just fighting obviously in Belfast with fighters, you were obviously out in Canada as well with Lee Reeves. I guess obviously now Canadians now know who Dee Walsh is.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it out there, and I got to meet some really really nice people, and Joe Cortez, the referee, he was good to talk to. Me and him, one day me and him got picked up to go to the gym one day, and no, it was good to hear what he had to say about the greats, and obviously I was picking on his head about stuff. No, but it was a great experience, and Lee performed really well. If I'm honest, I was expecting more of the guy who he was fighting, but I think it was more to do with Lee's performance, why he didn't perform, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So no, I was happy enough. Lee's happy too.
And obviously, I was up here today to obviously interview Jared Hughes, who obviously just brought on. He's been training with you for the last year or so. Tell us a bit more about Jared, because I'm guessing for a lot of people, they probably might not know who he is as a boxer, and obviously why you brought him into the stable.
Yeah, well, Jared first came to me. I think Jared boxed for Holy Family, and then he boxed for the Mark, and he was in the Belfast mat as well. So Jared is he hasn't had a fight with me yet, because the weight he's at for one, and two, the level he was at. Like, he entered the Opens or the Ulster Opens last year, like intermediate senior type of level, and he got a walkover. So, but people don't see the improvements he's made as well. Like, I've seen him in here sparring, and also he's come on leaps and bounds too, and he's in here sparring Connor. He's sparring the R pros as well. So I think he's good enough to turn pro. So I thought, when he said to me about it, I was like, yeah, 100%, I'm on board with him.
And obviously he's linked up with Kevin Marie as well, so it means like you probably be in, I guess in some ways you're sort of branched out amongst different promoters and things like that, so probably the likelihood is you could be fighting in Fight Zone cards in England, things like that as well. So I guess the more that see the Dee Walsh model, obviously it makes sense, because obviously you're going to have a stable of multiple world champions in the future as well, so the more people that can see who you are and what you're doing with your fighters, I guess, is putting that fear in them at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to make contacts with other managers and promoters, and that, especially the MTK is going as well. So, as I say, like, even where kids coming through in later years when they want to turn pro, obviously more contacts the better. But if you have to meet that guy, Kevin Murray, but obviously I will in the future. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm looking forward to, as you say, branch out. You know what I mean? And get over to a fake cause in England again.
And obviously, looking at your amateurs as well, you've obviously had quite a lot of success in the first half of the year. Is it sort of, I guess, with COVID and everything else, is it good to have it back, but more so for the young ones and seeing them getting back into doing what they enjoy? I guess this is your fruits of your labour for the future. You know, these are a lot of them is going to be your professional boxers in the future. So obviously, I think you've had quite a lot of success. It's probably a bit hard to remember all the success you've had in the gym this first half of the year, but it's been a really good start to the year.
Yeah, brilliant. Like every tournament we've entered, majority of them are coming away with winners' medals at the end of the day. Some of them have to win 3 fights, doing in the competitions and all. They're in Antrim, Ulster, and All Ireland there. And even in our club, we've never had the success that we've had in the national championships or the All Irelands. A couple of kids come away with as winners, and a few making the final. But as I say, it's good. A couple of years ago, I was gutted because there was no activity whatsoever. And as you said, there hasn't been that much activity so far in the pros. But thankfully, the amateurs have kept me busy every weekend. There enough. There seems to be competitions, seem to be fights, and then that's going to help them to come on in the future. The more fights I have, so no, I'm glad for the amateurs, and obviously the unlicensed boxing, semi-pro too. As there's any boxing shows on, I usually have a fighter on it, and I'm at them all. I love it. So
I guess for anybody that walks into Gleon as well, they see the gym's doubled in size. I guess it shows the success the gym's having, and obviously how much people's believing in what's been done here in the gym. I'm guessing probably the next stage you probably look at is going, how can we improve it again? You know, they're coming on the bus loads to come training as well. So I guess obviously it's a good pride thing for you to know that a lot of kids obviously want to come and train with Dee Walsh.
big time, like it's kids coming from right from Bangor. Hughes coming up from Ballycastle, nor we man Charles McDonough, he's coming up from Cookstown every single day, do you know what I mean? So no, it is good to see it there, and it's and also they're coming on here, they're coming up here, and they bring their different stages to the club as well. No, the club's doing really good, and every level. That's the thing about in here. We're probably the only club that has pros, unlicensed boxers, elite boxers, juvenile. We've got even underage. Like I've got a wee under 10 crew now. Like I've got basically fingers in all the pies at the minute. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's why I want to keep it. Just keep building on and on, and at the end of the day, the end goal is the turn pro. Do you know what I mean? The pros basically is my favourite form of boxing, professional boxing, and I just want to keep it going. And hopefully there's another few pros, people turning over here soon.
So there's going to be even more professional boxers. Sort of want to touch on probably the next show we're probably going to see in Belfast, probably going to be the Fela. Obviously Paddy's just come back doing light training at the moment. But obviously the Fela was probably a big one for you last year, and obviously 8,000 people in Falls Park. I think the talk was potentially this year been 15,000. But obviously Paddy's knocking on the door. He's sort of had fights turned down. He's obviously had an injury and stuff now as well. But I guess it probably shows how close he is to sort of getting somewhere and like being made mandatory for the EU European belt as well. I'm guessing obviously you can't wait to have him back. And I guess your hands have had a rest from obviously Paddy punching him.
Yeah. No, I look forward to Paddy coming back. As you said, there he just started back right doing light training because he broke his thumb. I broke both my thumbs before, and it's not good. I was probably out longer than Paddy was. So it's good to see him back as early as it is. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds. Like if he's able to get that fight on the field, because as you said, the field is probably, I'd say, the best experience I've had so far as a coach. Because of where it was. Like me and Paddy live less than a mile away from the Falls Park. So I mean, it's just basically up the street for us. And for us to do that together and win that WBC international title was a great achievement for us and our area that we're from. So I say one would be a massive step up, like to win the proper European title in especially the Falls Park, like, do you know what I mean? To say, like, right down the street where we're from.
Paddy's obviously had some great memories, 2019 and 2021. Obviously, we always like to indulge in obviously the brain of Dee Walsh. I think we sort of spoke about it on Saturday night, but I think you were sort of saying that your favourite boxer in world boxing at the moment is Shakur Stevenson.
Oh, big time. He's amazing. Even just what he done to Oscar Valdez is a brilliant fighter. And just made it look easy. So I mean, I think he is. I think obviously he has to prove himself a bit more, but I think he's pound for pound number one. I think he's my favourite fighter.
And obviously Canelo obviously getting defeated by Bivol. Sort of people were saying he's over the hill and everything else like that. I know people have different views and obviously the drugs and things like that in the past, but were you sort of surprised that Bivol was able to sort of manhandle Canelo, so to speak? It's sort of, I think, sort of looking at stages of the fight, Canelo was in throwing 1-2s, and then Bivol was catching him in the counter, and I don't think he was expecting it to come. Were you sort of shocked at how easily he was put away?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I've actually heard about Bivol from like 2006, because he's my age. I remember Roy Dalton used to go to the Europeans and the world's known and say that he was the best out of everybody at our age in the world. But I was a wee bit surprised Canelo even fought him, to be honest. And we got a Canelo a bit, do you know what I mean? Because he shouldn't even been at that weight. Bill was just too strong for him. And I think, in my opinion, if he came down to super middleweight, or he was Canelo, him were basically the same size, whatever, Canelo would hammer him. But just unfortunately, Bivol was just too big and strong for him.
I guess sometimes that's sort of, whenever he'd done everything at super middle and everything else, I guess let's test the water. He already obviously had a fight at light heavy before, so and obviously won a version of a world title as well. So I guess he wanted to try and see if he could do another weight class as well. But where would you like to see Canelo go next?
It's a hard one. Probably stay the same weight. So, I mean, or maybe even challenge for the cruiserweight. That guy, black guy, McCabe or something, who Bellew beat. I'd go for him.
So up the cruiser at 200 pounds.
He's not as good as Bivol. So, I mean, so if there's a chance for him to win another weight, then that's probably the one he should go for.
Definitely, I don't want to see the Triple G fight again. I think 40 years of age, let him buy out, sort of, rather than taking a payday and have pain for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's it. He already beat Golovkin, in my opinion. In my opinion, he beat him twice. So he's already done that, so I won't go back. It's going to be hard again, so let's just go for the cruiserweight one.
Well, Dee, listen, obviously it's good to get a catch up with you again as usual. We'll obviously look forward to your fighters getting more fight news, and obviously hopefully continues on for the amateurs with the great success they're having.